Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to this circle. Welcome to this community that gathers each and every week in this circle online, live here at 10 a.m. Mountain, or whenever you happen to get to the video, if the video works on a particular week. Apologies for last week. I was left in the lurch too. I thought I'd join you from places elsewhere, and I couldn't do it either. Anyway, I understand. All went so well, and good to be back with you in this circle again this morning. Oh, thank you, Jill. The love is mutual. Welcome to all those who find themselves at home this morning when they come to this community. Welcome to those of you who are seeking something like that, to find a home. Either you're here for the first time or the first time in a while. We make space for you always, and it is a place where we hope we can build and learn from each other. We each have wisdom to share. We each come to this place with experience, with wisdom, with the walk of our spiritual journeys. And whether we're seeking, whether we think we found what we need, or whether we don't know what we're looking for, this is a place we can support one another as we walk the walk. And it's a place, too, where we are proud, not just in Pride Month, but always, to be a place of inclusion and welcome. And so it's not just good enough to say welcome, everyone. We have found that in our specificity, we are able to not only welcome our own selves, but each other in very profound ways. And so even though we say it every week, we find new ways to find ourselves and each other in these words of welcome and affirmation. So let us know that our doors are open and we are welcome. All bodies and all sizes, all ages, all colors, all cultures, all abilities, all genders, all sexualities, all learning styles and neurotypes, all religions, many or none, all people, period. Here we are. So we come to this morning on the Sunday closest to National Indigenous Peoples Day, and we celebrate and honor that day today with our gathering, with a special guest speaker in Louis Cardinal, and we'll be able to introduce him a little bit more later on and hear from him, and we're grateful for your time with us. And so, as we've been welcomed and as we've been affirmed, we also must light our community candle, something special to us, and we thank our two gathering companions today for that.
stream. Deep in our hearts there is a common calling. Deep in our hearts there is a common voice. Deep in our hearts there is a common spirit telling creation that we are one. our deep respect for history and culture still incomplete. First Peoples land from long before, relationships to restore, enriching and reconciling ways. We live and dream for more. Gathering, honoring, remembering where we meet. Our deep respect for history and culture still incomplete. First Peoples land from long before, relationships to restore, enriching and reconciling ways. We live and dream for more.
This is our time for all ages. I welcome anyone who wants to come to the carpet and be part of a time here to come forward or to participate from where you are in your chairs. Well, it's okay. Sometimes we've got a carpet full and sometimes we don't. Thank you. It is the time for all ages. This is good. It's good. See, we're just patient. We're waiting. It's all okay. That's okay. Slow is all right. Yeah, we do have time. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. It's not my story, but I want to share some things with you. But first of all, I want to show you some pictures and see if you recognize what I'm going to show you on the screen. Look up here. Do you recognize that? Where have you seen that before? Have you seen that somewhere? Close by?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Where is it?
This is a sculpture, a big piece of stone that is just outside the front door. If you walked straight out the door, like straight ahead, you would walk into that. That's a sculpture on the front circle drive of our church. And I wanted to show you that because I wanted us to look at that for a moment. Let's just notice some things, first of all.
I see eagle protecting eagle.
What do other people see?
Oh, eagle presents love.
Does anyone else notice anything? It looks like a hand.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It kind of does, yes. The feathers and the head. Someone back there notices something. Mutual respect. Mutual respect. Oh, lovely. Ooh, the bird is protecting the people, Gilda says. This sculpture is called Thunderbird Eagle, and it's by an artist named Stuart Steinhauer. Where did I put Stuart? There he is. As we learn a little bit about this sculpture today, I am going to read you Stuart's words about this sculpture because I don't know, none of us know as much as the person who carved this stone. So here's some of the things that Stuart said. In the Cree worldview, there's a world where we all live and exist. Us people, us flesh and blood animals and plants, eagles, bears, trees, grass, and everything. And then there is a world where we all exist as spiritual beings, where all kinds of beings exist, and where if we seek them and if we're open to that world, we can have experiences and interact with these creatures. And this is what Stuart says. One of these is the thunderbird. The thunderbird. My elder mentors told me that the thunderbird looks like an eagle, only gigantic. So can you guess which one is the thunderbird? I think it's the bigger one.
Yeah.
The bigger one with the wing out. Thunderbird. Thunderbird is very powerful, connected with water, fire, thunder, lightning. And you can see on this one, he tells us that in Cree, that thunderbird is referred to as Miko Piesu. Piesu, thank you. This is also what Stuart says. This is his part of the story. I didn't have my first encounter with a thunderbird until I was about 30. He was feeling very sad. I was feeling very sad, and an elder mentor took pity on me and invited me to an event where, much to my shock and surprise, the encounter with the thunderbird happened. I say encounter because a thunderbird might seem invisible, but it carries an enormous amount of energy. And when I met Thunderbird, it was like a bird, at least twice as tall as I was, had feathers, and it spoke to me without any words, just spoke to me inside, and had challenged me, and I responded and met the challenge, and I came out transformed. And that's why he sculpted it. That's why he made this, because of his experience with Thunderbird. I think that when I hear Stuart Steinhauer talk about Thunderbird like that, the little eagle and the big eagle Thunderbird.
Is the little one the baby?
I think because he called it Thunderbird Eagle, I think that the big one is Thunderbird and the little one is Eagle. They're both very much similar, except in size, and he says the Thunderbird has great power. I kind of like the way Stuart Steinhauer communicated that experience he had with the stone. That's amazing that he could have that experience and then he could carve this out of stone. It's beautiful. Stuart's mother was a member of this church and gifted us this sculpture. And it's a beautiful gift, and we received it with much gratitude. We were so thankful. And now, every time we can look at it and learn about it, we can appreciate it when we come and when we go from this space. It's really beautiful. Reminds us of the power of thunder and lightning and water and fire, and all the things about Thunderbird, and how special eagles are too. Yeah, beautiful. So thank you, and coming to talk about Thunderbird Eagle with us. You can say hello to them on your way out today when you leave the church. You can wave and say hi to Thunderbird. All right. Today we have Kid Spirit. Really? Oh my goodness. Elsa is also very powerful and beautiful. Yes. One day we might have a statue of Elsa out front. You never know. Kid Spirit's happening today, and it's happening next week, and then after next week, we'll have a pizza party. Does that sound fun? Yeah. You can come to a pizza party if you want. Nice. Because Kid Spirit will be done for the summer. But before that, there's 2 more Kid Spirit lessons. So Daisy and Ariane, look, they're waiting. They're ready. If you would like to go, you're welcome. Thank you.
us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our turning. Let us sing this song for the healing of the world, that we may heal as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our healing. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing.
We're going to share a little time of invitation and announcement right now. We've got a number of people that have a few things to say, so I'll ask if you're one of those people to come up and get ready for a brief invitation. I'll mention just a few. Next week, we've been engaged in a series called Routine Wisdom. We're going to have a little conclusion time to that series next week. We have had great fun doing this at the end of series sometimes, where we get to kind of share our own thoughts. If you've got reflections on one of the ideas we've shared, or if you've got your own kind of everyday routine that speaks wisdom to you, we want to share that. And you can do that live in person at the microphone next week, or if you'd rather kind of write it out and have someone else read it, you can submit that through the week, and we'll make sure we share it. So it'll be a good sharing time next week. Also next week, I want to invite all of you to our concluding End of Pride spiritual gathering, not in the morning, in the evening. So we'll have our concluding series time in the morning, and then at 7 p.m. next Sunday, a very quiet, calm gathering to end the month of Pride with some gratitude and some hope for what the coming year might bring. So you're all welcome to join us for that. Of course, everything we do requires our time, our energy, our resources, our money. And we don't do any of the things that we do without you. And so thank you, whether you're here in this room, you're at home, and you donate with an envelope in the box, or it comes out of your bank account, or whether you donate online. All of that is just so important, and it lets us do all of the amazing things that we do, including having this building open for our community, for all the musicians and concerts that happen here, for the programs and community members that use this space. So for all of that, thank you so much for all that you give and all the time that you offer. I think that's it. Okay, all right, now the lineup. Here you go, Linda.
I'm the start of the train, so here we go. Guess what? Men's underwear, women's underwear. I'm looking for more. Last Sunday I went out and spent all the money I could, because I'm never quite sure how long these sales are going to last. We do have we have 594 pairs, not counting the stuff that came in this morning. So congratulations. I got more money today and I'm looking for more. The numbers are about 1/3 women's, 2/3 men. So this week there has been a sale on at Costco, 10 pairs for $14.99. And there's also a sale on at Walmart, women's 10 pairs for $14.95. Might go out today and spend some more money. Early, before we started, there was a comment about small things make a big difference. Clean underwear makes a big difference. And because Bissell doesn't have the capacity to do this campaign through community, doesn't mean the need isn't there. So let's step up and buy underwear or give money and I'll buy it for you. Thank you.
Joe Nicholas on behalf of our Thrifty Treasure Market coming up on July 6th. There it is up there. Good, thank you. Just a reminder, if you're dropping items off from July 2nd to July 5th, Tuesday and Wednesday, you can drop off between 10 and 4. Thursday, it's between 2 and 8. We wanted to accommodate people that are working during the day. And then Friday, it's only from 10 until noon. Friday afternoon is going to be spent pricing things, getting things set up. There's sheets on the bulletin board in the front with the items that you're putting in your boxes, so you can tick those off so we know right away where we can distribute things. And any extra help will be gratefully received. Thank you. Pass the baton.
Good morning. Happy summer. Feels like it today, doesn't it? Just a couple of quick things about the Jeffrey Straker concert. There are some posters at the back, and just wanted to ask if anyone knows of places that you might hang them around the community. Please take one or two or whatever you need and distribute them as you think would be suitable. The other thing is tickets are open and available on Eventbrite. However, if anyone has thinks that they could sell some, that would also be helpful. So if you do, we would ask you to talk to Dara about that, and we can arrange for you to get some to sell in your hand. And if you would like to hear some more Jeffrey Straker music, just go to YouTube or Spotify, whatever your favorite venue is, and listen. And it's going to be a while away, but we also need to have some time to lead up to get the word out to other people as well. So appreciate your support with helping to get the word out. Thank you.
Mary, could you just say a word about where the proceeds are going?
Oh, yes, of course. The proceeds are going to be in support of our refugee work here at SSUC, which is a very important reason why we're doing this. Thanks for the reminder.
Hello, my name is Jacob Kellerman and I'm the chair of finance. So you know what I'm going to talk about, money. I think one day I'm going to surprise you all and come up here and sing like Pam and Heidi can do, but in the messenger you will find a short update of where our finances are at the moment. And if you haven't read it there, talk to me. We will discuss anything, any question that you have, we can talk about it. We at SSUC spent a lot of money on a lot of things. But the one thing that's really speaking to our values is how much we spent on outreach. And that's the one that I would like to double on our budget as we go forward. But there are other costs that are real as well. So if you want to talk about anything, I'm willing to talk. And there are some statistics in there as well. Statistics, you know the story. There are lies, there are damn lies, and then there are statistics. And I cannot believe that I just quoted a conservative politician. But so for us, there are three sources of income or assets that we have. And the first one is, of course, our people. The second one is our facilities, this beautiful place where we gather. And we can optimize our income on that one as well. And the third one is our savings, which we have by the grace of what people did who came before us and who are still with us. So we must thank those people, and we must apply those funds as well as we can as well. And by doing all of this, we will manage the finances of this thing of ours. Now I sound like a mafia master.
And I want to, thanks for all the treasure that people give, but now I'm asking for talent. So as you know, we have 2 young men coming from Eritrea. We are hoping that they will be coming within a month-ish. And we have 2 young men coming from Sudan. They are waiting for final papers and then visa. Three young men from Sudan. Thank you, Mary. Stuck on the number 2. So we are hoping that there are people who would like to give some time. We will be, of course, enjoying cake. Thank you very much, Joyce and Jerry. And then we'll be enjoying bannock and the jam. And you'll have a time to talk with Louis. And after that, you're going to want to come and celebrate with us. We have some pictures in the library. At the end of all that, we can show you who these young men are, or some of them, and start planning what we can do to move this forward. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Ruth Stevenson, and I'm the co-chair of the Moving Forward Towards Reconciliation Committee. And I'm delighted, pardon me, to introduce you to Louis Cardinal this morning. I first heard Louis speak earlier this year at the Jewish Senior Center downtown. I'm a member of that center, and they provide quite a few interesting speakers and seminars. I was delighted when Louis agreed to come and speak to us today. I'm going to read you from bits of his bio that he presented to me before today. Louis is Woodland Cree from Sucker Creek, Cree First Nation in Treaty Number 8 territory in northern Alberta. According to his bio, Louis has dedicated his life's work to creating and maintaining connections and relationships that cross cultural divides. Louis has a long track record of local and international public service, which includes, pardon me, he was co-chair of the Global Indigenous Dialogue of Initiatives of Change International, co-chair of Initiative of Change Canada, trustee and executive committee member for the Parliament of the World's Religions, an honorary board member of the Martin Luther King Jr. International College of Ministers and Laity at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Louis has also received many awards for his contributions to our country and our province. He has received 2 medals from Queen Elizabeth II, the Diamond Jubilee Medal for Public Service, and the Platinum Jubilee Medal for his contributions to the province of Alberta. He has also been awarded the Inspire Award for Public Service, awarded by the Indigenous Peoples of Canada. and the province of Alberta's Centennial Medal for his work in human rights and diversity. Lewis has also received the Distinguished Alumni Award from MacEwan University, an honorary diploma for Indigenous Voice and Leadership from Norquest College, and the honorary degree of Doctor of Sacred Letters from St. Stephen's College at the University of Alberta. Currently, Lewis is a senior advisor for the Sacred Land Space in Edmonton, the first designated urban Indigenous ceremony grounds in Canada. His consulting company, Cardinal Strategic Communications, specializes in Indigenous education, communications, and project development. So much for one man. My mouth is running dry. We are very, very lucky to have Lewis come and speak with us this morning. I'd also invite you to join us for berries and bannock afterwards and talk to Lewis if you have particular questions. You're on. I'm going to give you your tobacco.
Yes.
Lewis, I'm offering you this tobacco with my sacred left hand in honor of our connection to each other, to the world, and to the spirit. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here in your sacred space. And as was mentioned, we started a project 17 years ago called Kichikauaski, which means sacred land. And it's down at the old Fox Farm site, down by the Fox Drive and White Mud Drive. You can't see it, which is great because it's nestled in there, about 12 acres of beautiful, pristine land. It used to be farmland and ranch land, and it's a place where our people can finally go to do our ceremonies, because we don't have a church, we don't have a cathedral or a mosque or a temple that we can easily go to. We've always had to leave the city in order to do that, but now we don't. And we work for a long time. People say, well, that's a long time to build a sacred site. And the elders said, yes, it's true, but we were going at the speed of relationship. That means we had to do a lot of work with the city to teach, but also to learn. And we did. And we developed a very strong and powerful relationship with the city. And I'm proud to say that the city is leading the way nationally and is inspiring internationally Indigenous relations. And so I want to extend an invitation to you all, whenever we can, is to come to Kichikauaski Sacred Lands, and I'll give you a tour, and I'll show you the things that we've planned and what we want to do. I'll also bring you to an ochre and spring site. A spring that's been running for 11,000 years is there, and it wasn't recognized by the city. Local people knew about it, but scientists, geologists from the U of A said this is about 11,000 years old. At the end of the last ice age is when that little the spring started to deposit what is called ferric oxide, which is also called ochre. And ochre in our traditions is a very important element in a lot of our ceremonies. So it becomes a sacred site. And an interesting thing that happened about a month ago, the end of February, as we were preparing for our very first sweat lodge ceremony, a spring appeared out of the ground, just yards away or meters away from where our sweat lodge sites are. So we feel that Mother Earth was speaking to us and welcoming us back. But it's a place of healing, yes. It's a place of learning, yes, but it's also a place of reconciliation. And so I'll invite you, and we can work out those details at some time later, to come, have some lunch. We'll tell you a story of the place, and you'll get to see the work that we're doing. And taking steps in reconciliation. And I feel that work here in your sacred site, that you really are taking those steps to move forward in reconciliation. And for us at Kichikauaski, we are talking about the importance of treaty and how these relationships are important and how we have to re-see what those things mean for all Canadians. And I know there's a time limit, so I want to make sure that I don't take too much of your time, and so I want to make sure that we get that covered. But so what I'm going to be talking about today is it's about my family. Let me make sure I have this right. Okay, yes. So we'll be talking about, we'll talk about my family, and this is like the lineage I have, and the work that has been consistent throughout my family's history. And as a genealogy nerd, I really enjoyed doing this research, and I can follow our family name all the way to Spain in 1492, and how it emigrated over to New France in 1659. By the first cardinal to come here, named Simon Jean Cardinal. What's interesting as well is that the Cardinal family name is a Sephardic name. It's a Jewish name, which I found to be very interesting. My family, when I share stories about this, they go, "What?" You know? But it shows how we as human beings have connected with each other over the years and have traveled to come to meet each other and to be here today. It's an important story. My family story is about treaty making. It's about relationship building. And it's, so I'm talking, this is just a quick overview. I should have went to that right away. But I'm going to talk about a brief family genealogy, the spirit and intent of treaties in Canada, and then treaties as the foundation for reconciliation. Because we really do need to re-see what treaties make. What you're looking at here is the painting, or it's a relief that's carved into the podium of a monument to Bishop Laval in Quebec, just outside of the old post office. And Garakonte, that was his name. He was a leader of the Onondaga people, a part of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. He was known as a peacemaker. He was called the Peacemaker as well in their traditions. But he became good friends with Bishop Laval. As a part of the process of building relationship, because at that time, the relations between Indigenous people, particularly the Haudenosaunee and the French, was not in good condition. And we all know the craziness of war and how we need to always work towards peace and relationship. So they became very close friends. And as a part of his commitment to Bishop Laval and the French people that were there, he agreed that he wanted to become baptized and to honor the traditions of his friend, Bishop Laval. So there's 4 reliefs on the podium, and this is the one that honors him. It's called the Baptism of Daniel, because he took that name, the Christian name, Daniel Garakonte. And from that, it allowed both sides to start to work together and develop relationships and to improve things. So he lived from 1600 to 1667. And so then we jump forward a little bit. This is my great-grandfather to the left. His name is Mustus. His English name was Louis Willier. And in the next picture there, he's sitting some years later. That picture was taken in 1899, just after the treaty signing of Treaty Number 8. And Treaty Number 8, we just celebrated the 125th anniversary just this week of the signing of it. So Mustus and Canusio, they were brothers. And so they're the ones who came to Edmonton and had letters written asking for treaty, because we know the importance of treaty. So the younger brother to the right is Canusio, which means fish. His English name was Andrew Willier. But Canusio was, his name, his traditional name was fish. Mustus was buffalo, or plains buffalo is the name that he had. And they had 6 other brothers too, and they all had different sorts of names that were traditional, but they were all Williers. And so on my grandmother's side of the family, we descend from the Iroquois, and that's how we connect to Garakonte. So Louis Garakonte Karihu, which, when it was written and rewritten, it becomes Calahoo. So Calahoo then, Michel Calahoo, is one of the signatories for Treaty Number 6. And he had a First Nation called Michel's Band. And Louis Caraconte became the progenitor of this huge Iroquois-connected family that is really quite substantial in size. Caraconte means moving sun, or sun traveler. And there's a book called Sun Traveler on him. It talks about his coming over from Kahnawake, and just south of Montreal, and coming here, and then marrying into the Cree families and the Stoney families, or the Nakota people. And so this is Chief Papas Jason. We all know who he is. He's my 4th great uncle. Again, another signature to Treaty Number 6. And then on that Métis side of my family, we have Samuel Cunningham. And Samuel Cunningham was also known as Captain Sam Cunningham. And he was, he sat in, I think it was 2 sessions of the very first organized government in the Northwest Territories at the time. And the headquarters of that was in Regina, so he often had to travel there. But he represented the people here in St. Albert, just north of the city here. And his brother, Edward Cunningham, was the first Métis priest in Western Canada, but certainly in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So he played an important role in, again, bridging these gaps between these worlds that don't understand each other. Fast forward some more. Chief Frank Cardinal is my grandfather. 1946, he was meeting with what was called the Indian Association of Alberta. You have to remember, at this time, we could not meet in numbers greater than 12 unless we had an RCMP, a clergy person, or someone, an Indian agent. And, but they needed to get organized because we knew the relationship was going backwards, and that the essence and the spirit of treaty was not being understood, and what the intention of it was. And we weren't getting the services and the promises that were made in our treaty, and the relationship that, that we had. We needed to repair it. So they used to meet. One story my grandfather told me, I said, well, how did you guys meet when you didn't have the clergy and the church and an Indian agent around? He said, well, you know, we like to hunt. So it would turn out that some of the chiefs in the north, they would all go hunting exactly at the same time. Yeah. And he goes, that's how we would go out into the bush, and then we'd meet, and then we'd start to organize and plan. They're getting ready here to go to Ottawa to reveal some grievances, recommend changes to the Indian Act, which would eventually come in 1951. Because at this time, you couldn't meet in numbers greater than 12. You had all kinds of different restrictions that you had. So, and forcing Indigenous people to go to residential schools and all those sorts of negative things. But they needed to change that. So they went back to the treaties. And so here they are, getting on a train to Ottawa in 1947. And there's some more delegates of other chiefs that were here. So they all met in Calgary and took the train to Ottawa. About halfway there, around Winnipeg or Thunder Bay, half of them were removed because they didn't have the permission slips from their Indian agent to travel. But they kept going. They made their way to Ottawa, the House of Commons, in 1947 to read what it is that they recommended for change. And it was illegal, what they found out as they got there, it was illegal for them to be on the House of Common ground. So it created another problem. And so they had to take the initiative, which took about 2 weeks to get done formally, to create an injunction to raise that restriction, because Indigenous people were seen as wards of the state or children of the state. But my grandfather's up there on the far right. So these are the representatives that made their way into the House of Commons and just were coming out after reading what their report was. And then the next generation. So that's my grandfather again in the middle with the moose hide jackets. My family was noted for our moose hide jackets because my grandmother, she made them all for her husband and her children and grandchildren. And I'm fortunate enough that I have 2 of them still in my possession. And so they were all centered around how we can work together to reclaim those treaties in the way that we should. So they went to Ottawa in 1970, on June 1st. They presented a paper called the Red Paper, which was known as Citizens Plus. And they went against the Canadian government to say, listen, this is what we need, because the federal government at the time was going to go back to even more, how would you say, restrictions. But it was called the White Paper. That's why we created the Red Paper. And so And we presented it to them, and we were successful. And we were successful in pushing back the government and changing the relationship with Canada and Indigenous First Nations with this red paper. So we started that change, and now we're working towards the relationship again. And then there's my dad, my father, in the white moose hide jacket, again made by my grandmother. And my grandfather, Frank, is standing there, and he's wearing a chief's suit. And this is when we met with the Queen to remind her about the treaties and the obligations and what we needed from her. And I was a little guy back then, and I remember this very well. And so there we were, getting all up in it. And so this is the next generation. My daughter to the left, her partner Natalie, my son Hunter, and my brother Lauren. You might recognize this guy from Corner Gas, right? Yeah, he's the actor and I'm the activist. That's how we split things up. The next generation. So anyway, going back to the important thing about recognizing, remembering what the spirit and intent of treaties are about. We are meant to be brothers and sisters. We are meant to be like family. It's a long-standing tradition of making peace with nations. And then what happens is that it's a sacred covenant, a very sacred ceremony to have the treaty-making ceremony because it's witnessed by the Creator. Most of our ceremonies, when we're doing this, is always done at high noon, so the sun's directly above you, so the Creator is watching over you, and the shadows are very small, so doubt and deceit can't hide as well. So then we recognize that treaty then becomes an adoption ceremony, and I think that's the important thing to know. Because the intention when we made these first treaties, when Garikante was bringing the covenant chain and all these things, it was to make family. They also call it the making of relations, is another term that's used in different Indigenous languages. But it is where you become family. And the golden rule is you do not make war on family. You have to look after one another and share with each other. So these treaties become sacred text in that way. It gives us direction in how we can live together. Because treaties go way back before European contact, and we all know these different treaties that extended at that time. But treaties were made in our traditions before you went to war, a way to stop that step into creating pain and harm with each other. In Western traditions, it was more, treaties were done after war or an extended amount of violence. But for us, we said, you know, we need to do something different in how we live with each other. So it's about restoring relations, correcting what is wrong, developing new and reinforcing new relationships as well. And so it becomes a very important part of who we are and how we're meant to live. So the very first treaty between the newcomers and the nations here, like I was saying, the Haudenosaunee, was a two-row wampum. And so what was interesting about that two-row wampum is that it is, well, I'll show you a better picture of it yet, because we don't need to go over this. Here's the two-row wampum. So that was between the Haudenosaunee and the Dutch. So the Dutch came in as the first settlers, and we said, I wonder what they have to trade. Because the word trade and peace are the same word. You can't make trade if you don't have peace. So this two-row wampum was created in 1613. You have two purple stripes that represent two boats or two vessels going down the river of life, joined by three simple principles. At first, those three white stripes then mean peace, friendship, and respect. And the wampum belt is meant to say forever. So we have these two ships bound together by these principles as we share the bounty of life. And what's been recorded and written and reinforces the idea that, and it shall last as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the river flows. And that becomes a standard clarion call through all the treaties throughout Canada afterward. And we shall be like family. And so this then sets the foundation of the first treaties. Now we go back to Garikante again. After he made friendship with the French, he then went and he brought the two-row wampum, but they adjusted it, and it becomes then the covenant chain. Because at this time, at around 1667, 1663 to be specific, is where the Dutch were pushed out by the British, right? So the British took over Albany and New York and all that. So the Haudenosaunee said, well, we have to create a new relationship with these new people. So they took the Tuatara Wampum, brought it to Albany in 1667, and they said, let's revitalize this and have a treaty with you now. So they said, okay, but let's take these 3 white stripes and turn them into links of iron, where it brings us together. What some historians don't write is what the word chain was misinterpreted. It still works out as a good symbol, but when they were talking about the chain, we shall have three links. What they were talking about is when people link their arms together, we become the chain. That's what that originally meant. But it also represents those three things it's talking about, and also it's very strong. So that's why we call it the Covenant Chain 1667. Then almost 100 years later, they bring that treaty again, the Covenant Chain, into the Treaty of Niagara, and they changed it to the Silver Covenant Chain. Why? Because silver rusts and relationships tarnish. And so what the commitment is that we will sit together and polish those links of silver until they shine again, right? And so again, for as long as the grass grows and all that, peace will last. So it became a ratification of the Royal Proclamation of 1763, how Indigenous people then would live and work with the English as they took control over that part of North America. And so this becomes a very sacred thing. 350 years later, the Queen comes back, Queen Elizabeth II, and she presents, she confirms that it's a living agreement. And so what she does before she leaves is that she gives a silver bell, about this big, nice bell, a hand bell, made of silver. She gave to the chiefs that were all present and descendants of the ones that were at Niagara. And she said, to confirm this treaty again, I'm giving you these bells. So when you have trouble, you ring this bell and we will come. She said, I will come, my government will come, and we'll work together to polish that chain. And so, coming across Western Canada, these are the treaty medals that were given to the chiefs. And you can see a commissioner or a representative of the Crown and an Indigenous person, and there's a hatch that's buried in the ground. And then you have the sun, you have water in the back, and you have grass. So another reference to those three things. And so, as you can see, we are a treaty nation. I'd say about maybe 80% of Canada now has treaties over it. They're still dealing with some in different parts of the country, but we're almost there, so it's working. I know it's a very confusing thing to look at, but they're there. Treaties in Alberta are broken into 3 areas, Treaty 6, 7, and 8. And then, but here's what's important, is about how we utilize these treaties to reframe the relationship that we need to have as Canadians. And the name Canada, coming from the Algonquian word and Iroquois word, or Haudenosaunee word, Kanatan, means a clean, pure, and sacred place. So when they were first asked by Cartier and Hudson and people coming up, explorers coming up, what do you call this place? And they said, this place is sacred. This place is clean. This place is pure. So that's Kanatan. Kanatan means a clean, pure, sacred place, but when we remove the N from Kanatan, it becomes Kanata, which then turns it into a verb. So Canada's name is not a noun, it's a verb. It means to make pure, clean, and sacred. So that means that we have to pay attention to our relationships. We have to pay attention and how we're fixing our relationships and repairing what was broken, returning to that essence of what these treaties were meant to be, polishing those silver links. So dialogue then becomes an important part of the reconciliation process. Because treaties aren't just for us. You're treaty people, as was said earlier, which is accurate. But then how do we become a better treaty person? Because I also have an obligation. That's why I want to invite you to our sacred site, so that we can share with you what we hold dear. And that way we get to learn more about each other. And I've brought down Islamic community leaders, imams. I brought down Jewish community leaders and congregations. And it's amazing how we see each other And as soon as you see yourself in another person's story, that's the thread of relationship. And you start pulling on that. And then the next thing you know, you're building a bridge. And so this is why we have to remember these teachings of who we are, right? And for you, as a congregation, the work that you're doing here is astounding. It really is that authenticity and that sincerity that we need to see in building reconciliation. We also have a lot of pain and anger to deal with, but through reconciliation, we're able to bury that hatch once again, and then to become like family, and to live together with the intention of what Canada was meant to become, a nation of family. And we are relatives when we look at it this way as well. So I jumped ahead on that one. So thank you, my relatives. I really do appreciate the time, and I think I hit it right on the head, 20 minutes. But, and I'm happy to take questions and spend some time and have some food with you as well. So thank you. I'm blessed. I'll be taking this tobacco, and I'll be offering. So when we're given tobacco, the intention is it's for here to witness what I'm saying and to feel what you're feeling. And so when we're done, usually the elder will take this, or the person you give it to, and they'll go and offer it, usually like to a tree or to Mother Earth, and ask Mother Earth or that tree to help to bless those people that are here and to help them. And so having this wonderful exhibit of Steinhauer's work, who I've known for years, by the way. He's an incredibly talented man. I'll go lay this tobacco down with the Thunderbird and the Eagle and ask them to bring your prayers all the time that come from this place as well, to bring it to the Creator so we can all live in good relations. Hi, nanaskumte. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Go Oilers.
Hey.
I had to say it. This is the place to say it. It might be, maybe after. We are together this day in renewed commitment to our relationships with each other and with all creation. May we now share a prayer written by Stan McKay from Fisher River Cree Nation, Manitoba, and the first Indigenous moderator of the United Church of Canada from 1994 to 1997. May we offer these words that strengthen our intentions and our spirits. We come with thanksgiving for our very breath, the warmth of sun and the sustaining waters, for life all around us, the plants, soft grasses, sheltering trees, for the ones that crawl, those that swim, and those that fly, the four-legged and the two-legged, and all our relations. We celebrate the diversity in creation as reflected in the four winds from the four directions. We especially honor the many peoples with their many gifts for understanding our shared life on earth. We strive to live out the seven sacred teachings: respect, love, honesty, courage, humility, wisdom, truth. These teachings enable us to live in harmony with ourselves, with our neighbors, and all created earth.
We're gonna have 10 minutes.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I know, I have to go early too. I have a few
Beauty is around us, beauty is within us, beauty is between us, beauty is unfolding in us, beauty is around us, beauty is within us, beauty is between us, helping to reveal life's sacredness, life's sacredness, revealed in the wonder, revealed in the earth, revealed in our quest for life. Spirit is around us, Spirit is within us, Spirit is between us, Spirit is unfolding in us, Spirit is around us, Spirit is within us, Spirit is between us, opening to reveal life's sacredness, life's sacredness, revealed in the wonder, revealed in the earth, revealed in our quest for life. Love is around us, love is within us, love is between us, love is unfolding in us, love is around us, love is between us, love is between us, opening to reveal life's sacredness, life's sacredness,
We go with gratitude for the great heritage we share with one another. We go strengthened for the good and difficult work of reconciliation. We go with great hope for the good way of relationship and connection to our land and all that live in it. We go with peace, joining in our hope for a hopeful tomorrow.